Using the groups and rota schedule, as well as indicating who's in which group, you can also allocate people from that group into the service duty rota. Obviously, that's assuming that the future services have been set up. So on the dashboard screen, we can see the future services for this coming week. And if I click Add Service Rotas, that will show all the future services have been set. And then I can click on each one to view who's been allocated to what duty within each service. And if I wanted to add somebody to that, I could double click on the required service, select the group that I want to add people from, and then select their name from there. Now, if I pulled the wrong person in again, if I just select Erica again, you'll say she's already on the list. Do you want to remove her? Yes, remove, and it will take her off. It will put her back in. And then we can see who the site persons are for that service as well. Then I click Save and Finished. And I can view each service by clicking on that. So I can see the site persons for the 12th. I can see the site persons for the 12th, the 4:30 service. And we haven't set anybody up for the 19th. So we can view it that way. But what would be handy is if I could see all the list of the site persons for each Sunday on one screen to save me having to click from screen to screen. So to do that, if I come out of this and I go to my church groups and rotas, then select the relevant group that I want to set the rota for, so it'll be the site persons, double click on it, so it gives me a list of the members there and details of the group, but then I can click Show Schedule of Dates. Clicking on that will then give me the current week that we're in, all the dates, and all the site persons that have been allocated to each of those days and those services. So I can see on the 12th, for the 10:30 service, we've got Nigel, Jane and Katie, and for the 16:30 service, we've got Sandy and Albert. Now, if I want to view all the future Sundays that are set, if I go to Select Future Days and select Sunday, that will give me the next 6 Sundays following the next current Sunday. And we can see who we've got allocated. Similarly, I can select past days as well. So if I select Sunday from past days, so starting from the 12th, which is the Sunday coming up, working backwards, we can see who was on site person's duty then. So to add site persons into this, I will say select future days. So I want to start adding some people in for the 19th. I need to select the service time. You can see here the selected service is 0 at the moment. So if I just went to say to add a person from the site person, it will say I must select a service date first because it needs to know where to put it. So I just click on the service that I want, and you'll see that it's now added the 19th of July at 10:30. I can then select a name, say we'll have Jane Smith. Now it's telling me that Jane Smith is already on coffee and tea bar duty. Do I still want to add them to this date? So, well, yeah, that's fine. Or actually, no, it's not, because she'll be tied up straight after the service. So no, we can't really have her for then. So we'll say no, don't add. So if we pick somebody else, let's pick Lynn. We've put her on the wrong date, so we put 26. If that happens, simply leave the date the same, click Lynn, and remove from there. Make sure that we've got the right service selected, then select Lynn again. And now it's telling me that Lynn's already on church cleaning duty. Do I want to add them to this date? Well, that's fine. It's not going to affect the fact that she can't do the tea and coffee. So we'll say, yeah, that's fine. And we'll pick somebody else. So we'll have Nigel. Even though I can see that Nigel was doing it last week, but he's fine about doing it again. And we'll have Florrie. So we can just add the relevant people into there. If we want to add the next date, simply click on the date, and you'll see there that there's the 26th of July is 10:30. The reason I have to click on the service time rather than the date is because we might have more than one service on a date. So if I click on this one here, you can see we've gone to the 12th of July, 10:30. But if I wanted to add somebody in for the 16:30 service, I just need to click on there, and you can see now that the time has changed to the 16:30. So if I was to add somebody else in for there, she will go on to the that time. So I can then carry on adding people into the various services. I can again sort of look at past days, say, well, what are they doing? When were they last on duty? I can just refresh to weekly. So I just get Monday, because I might have funerals or weddings during the week and I want to know what's going on. If I go back to my future Sundays. Now, if I want to look at the service in more detail, again, select the required service that you want and then click Show Selected Service. And that will take you to the service detail, so I can see what the church day is, what the service type is, who's leading the officiant, who's the preacher, who's doing the readings, who's doing the prayers, what the songs are. And also I can see all the other rotas that are being added to this as well. I can print a service sheet as well, so if I want to give a service sheet to these people, they can see what part they're playing in the service. So click Finish to get out of that. I return back to my schedule. I can then click back to the details of the group or rota, click Save and Finished, and I come back to my listing of rotas, and I can then add someone else in if I want. If I wanted to go, say, to the tea and coffee bar, I can then show the schedule of dates. Let's see who's on tea and coffee duty for the coming Sundays. Back to the details, save finished, and then to come out of this, just save finished, and then we're back at our dashboard. So if anybody else is viewing those service details from any other part of the system, they'll see the members from the groups that you've added from the rota. So if I was to double click there, we can then see the people that have been added. Similarly, if someone is setting up the or viewing the registers from the service area of the system, I click all future services and then click on the 12th. You can see the areas there, and again, from this area you've also got the opportunity to add or amend people in that rota as well. And that's all there is to using the church group and rotas to get members into the service. Okay.